What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTF back on another post-game recap as the Lakers get cooked by the Denver Nuggets 128 to 104. What an embarrassing loss. I'm very disappointed tonight. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, guys. This is not good. Yes, the injury bug is biting us. I mean, I can't believe what happened to Anthony Davis. I'm so scared that this injury could maybe prevent him from having future good games, especially coming up versus the Clippers. So I'm even more bummed out by that than even the loss itself, because the loss doesn't mean much. We're still in first place. However, when superstars are injured, that's when your team kind of gets exposed for where the weaknesses are. And now I'm starting to see we have a little bit more than a couple of weaknesses. I'm gonna start with the guard play. The guard play has been very disappointing. Rondo started off the season extremely well, and he has really like took a nosedive ever since his injury. He hasn't been the same, man. He hasn't been aggressive, hasn't been attacking the rim. He hasn't really been knocking down shots. He hit one, but he hasn't been knocking down shots. Rondo has been disappointing since he's coming back from injury. Avery Bradley defensively has not been the same. He's played okay in spurts, but defensively and even offensively, he has not been the same. Um, Kuzma had a better game today, but it still wasn't enough. We need a lot more contributions for other people. Dwight really got out rebounded there. I didn't like what I saw from him. And he's starting to miss a lot of his free throws, so not good. I mean, the team is kind of like regressing instead of progressing right now. And I understand that we're hurt, and we miss LeBron, obviously, but still super disappointing with the effort in the second half. And again, Danny Green, I don't know what's going on with him, man. Somebody needs to, put on an APB for Danny Green. He's not to be nowhere to be found. We need this man. Seriously, we need him. But I will say this: you cannot give up 128 points to the Denver Nuggets at home. That's atrocious, guys. We shot 33% from beyond the arc. We need to stop shooting that much. If we're shooting, if we're not shooting closer to 40%, we need to stop shooting. Field goal percentage was atrocious too, 46% from the field. Like, we need to stay above 50%, especially having AD in the paint. AD did his thing. I mean, up until he got injured, he was dominating the game. But we need more than AD. He had 32 points, 11 rebounds, and a couple blocks. The referees, atrocious again tonight. Again, Kuzma with a smooth 16. But nobody else showed up. Nobody else was in double figures at all. Like, nobody else. And what really pissed me off was Frank Vogel leaving Anthony Davis out there even though he's injured. You can't – come on, Frank. I don't criticize you all year, but you cannot act like Mike D'Antoni. That's how Kobe got injured. That's how he tore his Achilles. He kept throwing him out there even though his injuries were piling up. Turnovers were atrocious, and that's something I wanted to address. We might need to trade, and I hate to use the word trade this early, but I told you guys around late December, I tell you guys that we need to trade. Well, we might need to trade Cook because he hasn't showed up, and I'm very disappointed because I've seen what he can do. Or Troy Daniels, because neither of them have been consistent offensively, and they don't really bring any defense. So if you're not consistent offensively and defensively, you're a liability, then you're no good. Now I see why Frank Vogel hasn't played them. We need wing defense. We need some better shooters out there, consistent ones. We actually lacking in a couple departments that I didn't think we were lacking in. Again, anytime that your superstars are missing, you can see a little bit more of the exposure of the team. You can it's almost like putting X-rays on the team. You can see through them. So that's what I see. I see our perimeter defense needs a huge improvement because, again, we're getting killed from beyond the arc. And we need better perimeter defense and better card play. We had, 18, 19 turnovers again tonight? Horrible. We need to shore up the turnovers. Turtle Tank, thanks for a donation, bro. He said, their players just flying by our guys. Zero effort, yo, especially in the second half. And again, great comment, by the way. That's what I've been talking about. The effort, we need to piece it together for two halves, not just one half. We tend to be a one-half team. We take off the first half, ball out the second half. That's why we're on a 3-game losing streak. We've been taking off halves. Today, we took off the second half, which is even worse. And that's why we got blown out. But you know what? If we're going to lose and we're going to get blown out, I'm glad, because this forces them to learn a lot from film, and they need to be exposed for that. We just need another ball handling guard that can get us into our offensive sets, in my opinion, because 18, 19 turnovers a game is way too much, especially without Braun. I see how thin we are at the ball handling guard position. Now we got guys who can slash like Caruso, but he's not really a ball handler. Rondo's a ball handler, but he can't stretch the floor. So it's like we need somebody who can stretch the floor, handle the rock, and create offense. And it's gonna be hard to find in the trade market. But like I said, our perimeter defense is suffering big time to the point where our boy Anthony Davis is now scrambling on defense, and he almost got injured because of it. We can't have our center scrambling like crazy because our guard's going to stay in front of their man. So again, disappointing night, but we have a lot to learn. We might have a trade in this, or maybe an addition via free agency. I'm not sure, but there needs to be moves. I was pleased with a couple of things. It's not the end of the world. We're still in first place. Even though the effort wasn't there, the talent is still there. I'm pleased with Anthony Davis, the way he played, even though I don't like him out there playing through injuries. We need to bench him immediately. We need to protect our assets. So that's the only knock on Frank Vogel I had. I was not pleased with when we're getting blown out by 20, leaving Anthony Davis out there. That's a big no-no. But all in all, like the positive I can get from this is that Kuzma actually looked healthy. He looked aggressive, and this is the Kuz we love. An aggressive Kuzma is a good Kuzma. And he had easy 16 buckets using the glass, soft touch, attacking the rack. So very pleased with that part. We got to see a little bit of Talon Horton-Tucker. So I was pleased with that. Maybe he'll start earning a little bit more minutes. One thing I see in the short, like 2 to 3 minutes we saw THT play is that he plays under control, man. He really doesn't force anything. A rookie's natural instincts are to force up shots as soon as you get him. He didn't force up a single shot. So, I mean, he even displayed his handles and kicked it out to a wide open Dudley for 3. I mean, these are little observations, little positives from the game. But, I mean, mostly it was a negative showing, especially in the second half. But still, props to AD for playing hard. He always does, man. He always shows up. You can count him in for 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 to 4 blocks a game. That's my guy. Man, shout out to Kuz for showing up. Everybody else, man, hit the weight room. Got to get your weight up. You guys have to make an impact. I'm very disappointed with 3 players that I expect a lot more from, and I'm sure they can get their game up, but I'm not going to stick around to find out how long it's going to take. All right? 3 players that have disappointed me, and I'm going to put them in order right now. At number 3, Troy Daniels. He's supposed to be a knockdown shooter. He hasn't been doing much knocking down lately. Troy Daniels. His defense is not good. Number 2, Quinn Cook. Quinn Cook hasn't done much for us since we acquired him. I've seen him play through Duke. I've seen him play a little bit in Cleveland. And then Golden State was his most impressive run. And he hasn't been any version of that. Maybe he's not a primetime player. Prove me wrong, Quinn Cook, because I really like you. Hopefully he turns it around. If not, I wouldn't mind to see him traded. And number 1 player that has disappointed me thus far, and I've really stuck out my neck for this guy, saying he's a big-time shooter, big-time player. He's going to be there when we need him, has been Danny Green. Bro had 0 points at the half, and we need a lot better defensive effort from him as well. Danny Green is a lot better than that, so I'm baffled by his slow start. We needed him, especially tonight with no LeBron. He could have dropped a 15-piece, but nope. He's been in single digits way too often. So those are the 3 most disappointing players thus far in this early season. Now, I'm not saying trade them all. I'm not putting them in a package, none of that. If we get rid of one of them and it improves our roster, then I'm cool. But what I'm saying is they need to improve, man. They need to play a lot better. They need to be a lot more consistent, especially Danny Green for that bank he's making. What is it, $9 million a year? He needs to show up. Blue Diamond Gem says Vogel should not have played AD after hurting the leg. 100% agree. I just touched on the subject. We don't need another Mike D'Antoni type coach. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need another Mike D'Antoni. This is why I blame Mike D'Antoni a lot for why Kobe ruptured his Achilles. And that's because, if you guys remember, he had like 2 prior injuries in the same game where coach should have just sat him to be precautious, especially with the heavy minutes he was getting. And coach threw him out there at the time. It was, Mike No D Antoni. And he threw him out there, and he got injured. He ruptured his Achilles. I really blame him a lot for that. So he said, why do people keep blaming the coach? Again, tonight, it was not a good showing for coach, especially because he left AD out there. You got to show you care for your superstar players. You got to covet them and protect them. I did like the challenge he took. When AD got the block, that shows you trust your superstar. He calls for the challenge. You got to challenge it. But yeah, I was disappointed overall with the team's effort in the second half. How'd you guys feel about the game, though? What did you guys observe? I pretty much got everything I needed to get off my chest in these first 10 minutes of the video. Now, what you guys think? He said, we need players like Robert Covington, Thomas Stronowski, and J.R. Smith. We need to trade for 6'7", 6'8" wing defenders who can shoot over 37% from beyond the arc. 6'6" shooting guard like Danny Green. Yeah, I agree, man. Length would be very welcome because sometimes we go small and we get exposed by their length. And like I said, guys like Troy Daniels and Quinn Cook, if they're not giving you nothing offensively, they're definitely not giving you nothing defensively. So that's why they go on those runs, those other teams. We got to make sure that we hold everybody accountable. And it's like, dude, if you're going to give up 10 quick points on a fast break transition, better make sure that you're shooting lights out if you want to see the floor. That's what I'd be telling my players if I was coach, Got to hold them a little bit more accountable. He said Markieff Morris is a solution for the bench. I wouldn't mind him at all. I truly do like him. DTLF Lakers looked awful without Bron. Honestly, I agree, but we've looked awful the last 3 games, to be honest with you, to be quite frank. I mentioned it earlier in the season, even when we were winning. I said, we're developing some horrible habits only playing halves, like either the first half or the second half. We can't do that against elite teams. We can get away with it versus subpar teams, but when we face elite teams, they're going to expose us. And the last 3 games is exactly what has happened. We haven't gave maximum effort for 4 quarters, and as a result, it has resulted in 3 losses. So this is the biggest losing streak. Now I'm interested in seeing how we react to this, how we bounce back, if we come back with a lot of effort. Christmas Day game coming up next. The Laker Lucky Jackets coming out. We need to beat these Clippers. I don't want to hear their stupid fans just basically coming out of the cracks and crevices of the earth to bother us, Dan, in my opinion, we need Jamal Crawford. I still don't like him for this team because ISO scoring, even though it could obviously help off the bench, it's not our primary need. Like I said, we need wing defense around the perimeter, and we need guys that can knock down the shot consistently. To me, Jamal Crawford's more of a high-volume, streaky scorer who can get hot, but he needs a lot of shots. And honestly, that's the same reason Kuzma hasn't strived that often, mainly because of injury, but also because he needs more shots. So that's the last thing we need is another shot eater. We need somebody who could, be consistent and play their role, play their part. Shumpert and Iggy, that would be perfect. Vincent, thank you, bro. He said Lakers have horrible rotation when we have injuries. I agree with that part. We need to fix that. But again, it exposes what we lack, and we lack some versatility on the perimeter defensively, length, and we lack also maybe some more consistent 3-point shooting because, man, we're breaking everything lately. Bet you all miss Brandon Ingram now? If we could have kept him, we would have. It's not like we made the choice to trade him. Like we had another option to get AD without Brandon Ingram. So that's kind of irrelevant, to be honest with you. Dan, Crawford would help with the ball handling as well, like Lou will. But he's not really a shot creator for anybody else other than himself. We need somebody who can get us into our offensive sets, somebody who's basically a game manager. I'm talking like, what we need? Maybe not shooting-wise, but playmaking-wise. But I guess you can compare him to Rondo if he's not a consistent shooter. But somebody like Ricky Rubio, who doesn't turn the ball over, man. The only thing I had with Rondo lately after injury, that he's been turning the ball over a lot. He wasn't doing that pre-injury. He was looking elite, and I was perfectly happy with him. But right now, we need somebody like a Mike Conley. Obviously not Mike Conley because of his salary, but we need somebody like that can manage the game for us. Very similar to the one time we traded for Ramon Sessions that season. He was very good guard. He wasn't fancy, but he was effective. He could just, play his part, score when we need it, and play make when we need it. That's what we need. We need a mixed player. Bogdan, I haven't seen enough of him as far as playmaking goes to see if he can get us in our half-court sets. Caruso, for some reason, he's been turning the ball over. We need somebody who can. I thought Caruso was the answer there, and I love him offensively, but we need somebody who's not afraid when they're putting ball pressure, can break down, split double teams, get in the seams and kick it out for wide open shots, or finish at the rack. Turnovers keep killing us. That's what I'm saying. We need a ball handling guard. He said we need Reggie from OKC. I mean, we need something, man. Dennis Schroeder would be dope because he knows how to utilize his speed really well. So I actually like that option if it becomes available. But something like that, man. Something like that. No, we don't need Swaggy P. Again, he falls in the streaky score category. That's the last thing we need. We need consistency. We need somebody that LeBron and AD can count on when one or the other goes down or has a load management type game. Somebody who will you can count on any given Sunday. Then I told you the roster wasn't that good. LeBron and AD covered it up. Now I still think our roster is good. It just obviously we have holes, and but I expected us to step up in the absence of both AD and LeBron, and so far that hasn't happened. We've lost both games where AD was out, and then also when LeBron was out. So we do need an upgrade, but we can't give up too much in the process. We have to kind of like addition by addition instead of addition by subtraction. Because if you subtract a good player and you add a good player, then you'll be pretty much in the same boat. We need to subtract a player that's not getting a lot of minutes, like hate to say it, but like a Jared Dudley or a Troy Daniels or a Quinn Cook, and add a player that you're going to be able to count on, like an Iguodala. He said, but nobody's willing to step up. It's not that they're not willing. It's just that they're not the players we need. They're not the ball handling guards who can score that we need. I thought Quinn Cook would fill that role. I was super excited when we got him, but so far he has disappointed me. He truly has. And I'm not trying to give up on him, but I'm saying if we could shore up those positions right now, I would do it. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to let people go at the deadline. Look at Cook, Dudley. I still feel Daniels can shoot better. Yeah, I mean, I want to believe in these guys, but they got to show me more. I truly want to believe in them. Do you still think we can win the chip? Absolutely. Man, see, when I say tweaks, it's not a revamp. We don't have to revamp the roster. We're not looking for a blockbuster deal. We're just looking for a little spark, to spark us. Somebody mentioned Dennis Schroeder. That would be a perfect spark. I think that's, obviously Iguodala defensively would be perfect as well. There's a couple of players that can spark this team. That's what we need right now because injuries are biting us and guys aren't stepping up. It's a night, DTLF. Glad you passed up on the game on Staples. And I actually feel bad because I wanted the guys to get a victory for my guys I sent over to Staples, the first game ever. But I'm sure they still had a good time because it's always a great experience going to Staples. And I would have as well. But yeah, it always bet much better with a victory. Is AD injury prone? You know what? It's just that he plays really hard. And any player that plays hard, can basically be exposed to injuries. But would I say injury prone? No. No, I wouldn't say injury prone. That's kind of harsh. Lonzo hasn't had any stints, like long stints in the NBA, so I'd say he's injury prone. DJ Augustine would be another good selection. Yes, we need a speedy guard who can get in the lane, knock down open shots, and create. Let's just hope AD is fine. And that's my primary concern tonight. I want Anthony Davis to be ready for the Clipper game, because again, last thing I want to hear is stupid Clipper fans just yapping in my ear hole when they're losing to teams like OKC Thunder. He said, we should beat the Clippers. That would be a statement win. We need a bounce back win. Seriously. Dennis Smith Jr., man, I truly like him, but I just feel like they haven't developed him well enough. I'm not sure if he's ready to contribute to a championship team. But I like him as a project. If we could get him just by cutting somebody, I would do that. But would I give up something major for him? Probably not. I do like the kid as a project. He's a fun player to watch. Super explosive, athletic, and create. He's a combo guard. But he hasn't shown me enough, and he's still very raw to where he can come in and produce. But like I said, if it's a low risk, high reward kind of thing, I definitely take him on. Alfred Payton will be solid. He wouldn't be the best option, but he'd be solid. He said Kuzma should be playing more. Man, he's coming off an injury. Slowly but surely, they're going to work him into the rotation a little bit more, I'm sure. He said LeBron has to play on Christmas. Man, I'm more concerned about AD right now. He said everything is on the line now. Well, we're still in first place. It's not panic mode time. It's none of that. I'm actually kind of glad it's happening now at this point of the season because this is the hard part of the season. If we were losing to easier teams, I'd be a lot more upset. But we build enough of a cushion where we can let's see how we bounce back from adversity. And the next game versus the Flippers can be the perfect test, man. Let's see how much we want it. We should lay it all on the line for that game. He said DTLF Rondo is playing garbage since injury. Should coach give more minutes to Cook? But Cook hasn't been much better. I agree, Rondo's been trash. I would give him to Caruso. I would even test out that kid Talon Horton Tucker with some of those guard minutes. See what he can do, man. See what he can do there. But we definitely need to make some tweaks. If it's not going to be to the roster, then it has to be to the rotation. But it's not panic mode time. We're still number one in the West by a couple games. We have a nice little cushion. Hopefully LeBron and AD get healthy, and our rotation has to step up. John Press, thank you, bro. He said, DTLF is early in the season. We will win it all this season. Merry Christmas, happy late birthday, and Happy New Year, Dan. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate all the love, man. Thank you so much. I agree with you, man. I have not lost faith. Now, I'm disappointed tonight, obviously, because of the effort they showed in the second half, but the faith is there, man. I believe this team has what it takes. Now, can they use a couple of tweaks? Absolutely. I see it now. It's a strategic move. Ironically, this happened during trade season. Tyler Ennis, come on, bro. Is it teams are adjusting and getting tougher? That's a problem. And we're just the injury bug is biting us right now, man. LeBron probably would have made a huge difference in this game, maybe even win the game. But again, we can't be a first or second half team. We got to play it 4 quarters, and that's the one thing coach has to focus on. He has to show them film, be like, where's the effort in this half? The same effort you guys were playing the first half needs to be maintained and sustained in the second half. Same thing for other games. You need to start off hot and finish hot. I don't want to see no in-betweens. We're elite title contender. We have to play like it. We can't shrink during the big games. Tonight was another big game. Milwaukee, big game. The first Clipper game of the year, big game. This Denver game, big game, especially because we're coming off of 2 losses. And we've lost these games. So we've also won a couple big games, but for the most part, we've been losing these. So we got to make sure that we make a statement. These are statement victories. And especially this Clipper one, man. Lord help me if we lose that game, because I'm going to probably go off, especially during Christmas. I want to be happy. Obviously, I still count my blessings, and I appreciate everything. But the best gift that we can have as a fan base would be to smack the Clippers and put them back in their place, on Christmas. Seriously. Vogel said AD tweaked his knee. Oh, that sounds horrible, man. That sounds horrible. That is not what a Laker fan wants to hear right now, especially right before Christmas. If he's out that game, guys, it's going to be really hard to win it. I'm not saying it's impossible, because we've won Christmas Day miracle games, like when we faced the Golden State Warriors, and we smacked them too. And that's when they had KD, Steph Curry, Clay, and Draymond. They were all healthy. And we smacked them with the young core. I've seen some Christmas Day miracles. So even if AD's out, I hope we win. I just want to get a victory. Vogel said LeBron is doubtful for the Clippers. Oof, that's all bad, man. That's all bad. I'm definitely wearing the jacket. We need all the luck we can get. I'm going off on Xmas Day. Better show up. Absolutely, Cat. I'll be happy as hell if we beat the Clippers. Me too, man. That's all I need. I don't care about the last 3 wins. Give me this one thing, Lakers, please. Who's the worst coach, Jim Boylan or Alvin Gentry? To me, they're both horrible. Thoughts? I'll probably go with Jim Boylan, because Alvin Gentry, he was showing flashes of good player development. Certain styles don't fit certain systems, right? You got to adapt to your players, your personnel. You can't force a style of play on any players in any age group. This team is going to bounce back. Yeah, man, I sure hope so. We need them to. Where's the jacket on Christmas for good luck? Yep, it's going on, man. You guys voted it on, so it's coming back on. He said Caruso is better than Paul George. No comment. Lakers should sign Jody Meeks. Jody Meeks falls in the same category as, Quinn Cook. Inconsistent. He had one great year for the Lakers under Mike D'Antoni, but who doesn't play great under Mike D'Antoni? That's a running gun system. It gives you the ultimate green light. That's a shooter's dream, right? So I don't want Jody Meeks. He's a trade Jared Dudley, Quinn Cook, and Troy Daniels. Again, if there's a trade to be had, go for it. If not, I just really hope that these guys and improve because we need them. We need these guys, man. By the way, just a little positive side note. I seen DeMarcus Cousins pregame warming up, at shoot around. That's great to see because that could mean, I'm not saying this is exactly what it means. I'm no doctor, but it could mean that he's closer to returning than we initially thought. So hopefully that's the case because he would be a great spark for us off the bench. King Mamba LA, thank you, bro. He said Matt Chat was showing you a lot of love on his stream. Oh man, go show my boy Matt some love, man. Seriously. This kid is an up and comer. He's a diehard Laker fan. He has a lot of passion. So go show this kid some love, man. He said, I don't care about regular season. We all know we making playoffs, but I understand these wins against the teams are important. We okay, guys. I agree with that. There's no time to hit a panic button, but we do want to see improvement and we want to see tweaks for sure. We don't want a steady diet of inconsistent one half or second half, first half or second half basketball. We want 4 quarters. A couple more questions before I get off, guys, because, again, I have to wake up extremely early in the morning, man. I only got a couple hours of sleep coming up before, my Friday hits, which ironically is on Monday. So, bad timing. We needed to destroy the Flippers. Well, it's still not over, man. We still have a shot. Anytime the Lakers play, we have a chance. So, hopefully we do that. Dan, tired of the Haiti media. They posted the Lakers lost tonight, but not the Flippers lost to OKC. Shake my head. That's the way a cookie crumbles, man. They hate us because they ain't us. They want to love the Clippers because they ain't won nothing. They hate us because we got 16 and counting. It's always going to be like that, man. We got to swim against the current. Imagine if Boogie Cousins plays on Christmas. That would be a miracle. Yeah, we don't want to bring him back that soon, man, because he truly has a serious injury. So, but I do want him back healthy, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I want him to come back all the way, man. He said Boogie was a big piece, especially versus the Bucks game. Boogie? I'm not sure if you meant Boogie. So Lakers are 6-6 against above 500 teams. Yeah, we need to get that number up for real. For reals, guys. One more question before I get off, though, man. I'm going to sign off a little bit early. He said, Dan, do you play 2K20? Yes, I do sometimes, from time to time. So, yeah, you can find me on there. Gamer tag, got love for your girl. GOTLOVE. The number 4, and then the UR girl. I'm a trash talker, so that's all that the gamer tag is, man. All right, guys, it's gonna wrap it up for me. Thank you so much. Again, I got work tomorrow, so I'm gonna rest up for that, guys. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. By the way, actually, hold that thought. I will be back to wish you guys that on Christmas during the Clippers. So hopefully, man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna pray that AD and LeBron are healthy for that game, and that'll really up our chances. So. Catch you guys on the next one, though. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys for all the donations and the love y'all show, man. Have a great night, Laker Nation.